Hey, Ante,
Rachel,
what do you know about your first visit to Japan?
what do I know? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
But that's the difference. You came here with notes and everything and
Mm-hmm.
did research, whereas I need to rely on my brain.
You didn't have a live journal? You didn't have a
I
MySpace?
didn't have LiveJournal. When I went, I think Facebook was happening.
Don't you have anything on Facebook?
Yeah, that's why. I'll be able to put some photos up later
Oh,
on.
okay, good.
So
Good.
some I probably don't want to put up
Yeah.
there.
Thank God I don't have any photos to put up because I probably don't want them up either.
No, you don't want it. But before I do go into that trip, like I was saying,
Mhm.
Japanese influences.
Oh,
So
yeah. What were your Japanese
before-
influences?
So before I even knew these things were Japanese, you need to picture in your head a 5-year-old auntie.
Oh.
So actually, I think I was quite tall.
For a 5-year-old?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really tall.
Yeah. But two of my favorite shows,
Mm-hmm.
Get Home from School, so it wasn't like kindergarten and that. Monkey Magic.
Oh, Monkey Magic.
Also, I believe known as
Sayuki, yeah.
which is
The record of the
jour-
journey to the west.
That's
yeah,
it, the Journey West.
Sayuki.
Monkey Magic. Yeah, Monkey was my childhood hero. I remember after every episode.
Why was he your hero? What kind of character was he? For the people at home who don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I'm 5 years old. Do you think I care about the story
No.
of the journey? No, I don't care. And all I care was fighting. Look at these fighting scenes. These are great. Watch an episode,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd go outside and grab the parents' rake or something. At one stage, I did find a stick that didn't have any edge. It's like, yeah, running around the back fighting, pretending like I'm a monkey, pulling a little stick out of my ear, making it grow. So him
Mm-hmm.
and the other one was, we call it Astro Boy,
Oh, Astro Boy.
which in Japan is known as,
Oh,
do you know
God.
what? Atomu.
Atomu. Yeah, Atomu.
Yeah.
Atomu. Yeah.
So this was even before I knew, didn't even really think about Japanese things at all. So my first influences came
Mhm.
from Monkey Magic and Astro Boy.
Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And if I'm thinking correctly, they might have even been on maybe back to back, possibly on Australian TV.
Maybe like a block.
Or
the
maybe a
afternoon
show
block.
in between kind of thing. One
Yeah.
of those. And yeah. So that was my big first influence.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I actually got into martial arts.
Oh, okay.
So I probably would have been just hit high school. One of my brother's good friends, he was black belt. I don't know how many dans. He was quite up there.
Mhm.
And he was like, Auntie, you want to try out? And I was like, I always did kind of, just never had the chance to. And then
So you went from
grabbed me
fighting in your backyard
Yep.
to fighting for real.
fighting for real. Yeah. So my other influence, I guess, was then getting into the martial arts side,
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying it, and then delving in a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, hang on, what is this really about? Where is it from? What's the history?
So that was when you were in high school?
That was when I was in high school.
So about how old?
What's high school now? So year 7, what were you hitting about 16?
Roundabouts, probably.
Oh, no, even younger. It's probably 14, I
14,
guess.
15?
Yeah. So, yeah, just started delving into the culture.
Mhm.
One of my cousins hands over the VHS.
Ah, the VHS.
Want to check this out? What is
It
it?
always happens when you're 14 and 15. Someone gives you a VHS.
We didn't know it as anime then, but it's it's a Japanese cartoon.
Yeah, Japanese animation.
Like, I don't want to watch a cartoon. No. Wait. I still remember it. Cyber City Oedo 808. It was a 3-part series only.
Oh, I do not know that.
Oh, it's very retro-ish anime.
Okay.
But he put it on, and I was just, my jaw dropped.
Mm-hmm.
The action in this, we're talking swearing, blood. I'm like,
No censors, no nothing.
this is a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that whole sci-fi element to it as well. Very Blade Runner-esque city.
Ah, yeah.
I was just like, dude, give me more. It's like, Yeah,
it just takes one videotape
that's it.
at the time.
Mhm.
No streaming, no downloading from the. It was always videotape. A
Nope.
lot of it was fan subbed. If it
They
wasn't from a
just
major
passed
producer,
around. Yep.
you get the yellow subtitles, which is where my love of subtitles really comes from.
I like yellow
You know, the yellow
subtitles.
subs with
They're
like the
all
black outline.
yeah.
I love those so much. And the little like the translator's notes. Sometimes they will put at the top for the
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
subs. That really.
Gonna do it. That's the way to do it.
Have you? Just gonna go
Mm.
off on a tangent for one
Yeah,
second. Have you seen the Rick and Morty episode where they do a spoof off of those fan sub for the opening?
No, I
Have
haven't
you seen
seen that one.
the Rick and Two Crows?
Yeah.
So there's when he goes off with the Two Crows, they do an entire opening in Japanese
Yeah.
with yellow subtitles, just like the old school ones.
Oh, I can't remember when I saw that one now.
It was probably on the last. So not the newest season, but I believe the one before that,
All right, I'm gonna have to go back.
or the one before it. It was Rick and Two Crows.
Yep.
And I'm sure we could probably put like a tiny clip on like our
Probably
Instagram
can.
or something. But it's like when it started,
Yeah.
and I saw the yellow subs, like something in me just went like, it was like, oh my God, this was what it was. Because they have
That's
like,
your thing.
so above the yellow subtitles, they would have what they're saying in Japanese written out in English letters
Yeah.
as well, which is another thing that fan subs did all the time. So you could sing along with it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. I was like, they really knew what they were doing with this. And this hits really hard because like that was
Good research.
all we had.
Yeah.
And anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
No. It
Continue.
works.
Please
They
continue.
do some strange things. Sticking on that tangent, because have you seen the Australian episode of Rick and Morty?
The Australian episode?
So I don't know if it's really a real thing, but whoever did the research on this, it was just like, wow, they really made it Australian.
I have not seen
I'm
the
gonna have
Australian
to see
episode.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to see that one. Anyway, back to Japan.
Yeah.
Listen to Iron Maiden, baby. Anyway,
Back to the music. Yeah.
what were we talking about? Yes, the VHSs that
Mhm.
get passed around. And then, well, I was always interested in the culture.
Mm-hmm. Any particular part of the culture?
Well, for me, it was always, martial arts and anime were the big thing for me.
Mhm.
Because then I did get back into martial arts for a little while.
Mhm.
I started doing kendo,
Oh, okay. Kendo.
and that was good fun.
So what is kendo for the people at home?
Kendo is pretty much, call it Japanese fencing.
Oh.
European fencing is
Quite
more
different.
with the, it's very different,
I
but
did
it's
fencing.
still, you did?
Yes. I did fencing through.
At the
I was-
holiday house?
I was so awful. I was so bad at it. I loved it, but I was really bad at it.
Sounds like the ultimate rich person thing to do.
It's very costly, but it is also very
Yeah.
painful because we'll have to get into fencing
No,
later.
you can get
But
kendo equipment's expensive
Kendo
too,
equipment's
but
also
once
very
you've
expensive.
got it all, like,
so what kind of equipment do they have? We gotta
Basically, you
paint a
look
picture
like,
for everybody
okay,
here.
so it's basically your samurai sword fighting. I don't know, that's probably the worst description, but simplicity, yeah, that's really what it is. So you do have thick gloves.
Mm-hmm.
You have, instead of a sword, it's made out of bamboo or 4 bamboo staves
Mm-hmm.
put together, which
So it's like a
really
wooden-
hurt.
A wooden
Yeah, a wooden
approximation
katana.
of a
Yeah.
of a Japanese
Held
sword.
Two-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Fencing is more the one-handed, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Then you wear also a helmet with a grill over your face.
Mm-hmm. Very much like
which-
fencing as well, except the grill is a bit.
Is it a mesh?
It's so fencing is a mesh,
Yep.
very tightly woven mesh, whereas the grill for kendo has a lot more of a
It's like, it's very thick barred.
and there's a lot
kind of
more
like a
space in
gate.
between the bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you still can't breathe in it, right?
Yeah.
As much as it looks like it, yeah.
Still can't. Yeah.
So I got concussed once from that too. That explains a lot. Anyway, that's a subject for a different time.
So you
But
got into kendo.
Got into kendo. That
Mhm.
was another thing. Actually, originally first got into kumdo, which is the Korean derivative. And I, at
Oh.
the time, changed schools over to kendo. And
Did you get kicked out for fighting?
no. Just at the time, I kind of stopped for a little bit, and then I found another one that was a bit closer, and thought, I'll start there. That's funny when you find out how the community knows each other. It's very
Ah.
tight knit. So even
would
though
assume.
it was Korean kumdo
Mhm.
and Japanese kendo, all these clubs knew each other. So I started at this
Interesting.
Japanese one, and they always are the new starters. You don't have anything. You need to just follow what we're doing. And standing there,
Mhm.
following instructions, and the instructor's walking around looking at people,
Mhm.
stops by me and looks me up and down and goes, "Who taught you?" I'm like,
It's like, well,
told him the master's name. He's like, "Yeah, bet you've done this before. I knew it." So yeah, that was the other big thing. And then it
Mhm.
wasn't for a few years later that I tagged on to a group of friends who were like, "We're going snowboarding in Japan."
just because.
Just because.
Well, okay, so for people who are not aware of how far away Australia is from Japan, how long of a flight would you say from Sydney, I'm
Not as
assuming?
big a flight as you had. So if you're going direct from Sydney
Mhm.
to Tokyo, you can probably get there in about 9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah.
And the time difference?
Time difference, depending on daylight saving, so it can be anything from 1 to 2
There
hours.
you go.
Yeah, so now it's at 2 hours time
So it's
difference.
kind of an easier, it's not as big as going from the US to say I'm going to go snowboarding in Japan. It's a bit more manageable.
It's manageable.
Manageable.
Pretty much, yeah, if you
No
catch
jet
like
lag.
you won't get jet lag.
No jet lag.
Unless it's a night flight, because I just can't sleep on planes.
Oh,
So I get jet lag when I shouldn't get jet lag. But
well, that's convenient.
But yeah, so group of friends, they already had everything prepared and
Mhm.
that. So I had no input into
Mhm.
the trip at all. Just last minute, guys, I'm coming too. Everyone's hooray.
So
Yeah.
where were you going snowboarding?
So also the first time I ever saw snow in my life
Oh, that's fun.
at the tender age of 30.
Oh,
Yes.
that's also fun.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that must be, I'm kind of envious.
It was pretty cool.
Because like I grew up with snow.
Yeah.
So, and I love snow.
Mhm.
I love it. So much fun.
Yeah.
But the wonder in people's faces when they see snow for the first time is truly magical. It's like childlike because you're like, it's cold and it's like, but it's not like super wet and it's like soft and you can play with it and like the absolute wonder.
And powder snow.
Oh yeah, really nice powder snow.
Yeah,
Which
so
was
we
so where were you
were out
going?
Nagano.
Nagano. Okay.
Yeah, which is also known for. Well, they did the Winter Olympics
Yes, they
out
did.
there.
They did.
When I don't know.
I don't remember.
80s? Then
Probably the 80s.
yeah, I think it was. But
We'll fact check and we'll put something down here later. Fact check.
yeah. So again, group of guys all on a trip. Um,
Why Nagano of all places? I would think like Hokkaido, like the northernmost island, and like Niseko.
that was the one those friends picked at the time. But that seems to be the main two, especially amongst Australians.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Hokkaido or Nagano. Hokkaido has gotten to be known as the winter Bali, because most Australians go to Bali, and now they're all going there. But yeah, so just out of those two, that's they picked. I guess everyone just we'll just stay on the main island.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, our flight got delayed. I remember that. We got in late.
Always fun.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time we got to like our hotels, which we
Mhm.
had to stay, one night, then catch our bullet train the next day.
Mm-hmm.
My first, thing was like we've landed in Japan. We got a bus all the way to the hotel, so the
Mhm.
whole time looking out the window. What's this Family Mart? They're everywhere. Got a lot of 7-Elevens. And what's the other? Lawson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are probably the main convenience stores in Japan, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time I was like, wow, these places are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, right? Then get to the hotel. Business hotel.
Oh, nice. Business
House. I just remember walking into this little corridor, which then opened out into where the bed was, which was pretty much the room.
Mm-hmm.
as
That
well.
is the
Like,
room.
I
It
was like,
is.
where do I unpack? Like literally everything's on the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of jarring because hotel rooms are just, they're so small here. And that is something I felt more astutely when I went to Sydney in October with a friend of mine.
Mm.
Shout out to Nanae. And I remember we got to our hotel room and it was so big.
Right?
So spacious for less than the cost of a hotel room in Tokyo.
Mm.
And I was just like, it's like 4 Japanese hotel rooms put together.
Yeah.
Because usually the hotel rooms are just, it's the bed, and then there's like a tiny bit of space,
Yeah, a
and
little
there's
bit.
like a desk and like a mirror,
And then there's the door with the toilet bathroom
Yeah,
there, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
really compact as
yeah.
well.
It's very small, and especially because Ante is he's quite tall.
Hmm.
Can imagine it must be even more kind of cramped.
I always knew things are like, people say, everything's very compact in Japan. That was like really the first, like, oh, they're not kidding.
Yeah, they mean it.
Yeah.
They really mean it.
Mm. So at the time too, like I did not know any Japanese. So this trip I knew it was really a let's go to Japan kind of thing. Oh, actually, from martial arts, maybe I knew how to count. That ain't getting you really anywhere.
Wait, so you were 30 years old. When do you know what year this
30
was?
years old. This was 2011.
2011. So 2011 means we have internet.
We had internet, but Wi-Fi wasn't everywhere.
Wi-Fi wasn't everywhere.
So even
Smartphones weren't.
if you had a smartphone,
They were kind of a thing.
Well, that's the thing, because Wi-Fi and that wasn't much anywhere. It was
Yeah.
pretty much if it was at the hotel, if you did have it there,
Yeah.
yeah. Which I found it interesting sometimes, because meeting a few other Japanese people on a few other trips, it was still at that point of like, I can't contact these people until I get back to the hotel.
Oh, because no Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that first trip and even my second trip, I remember like having a folder with printouts, right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is where my hotels are.
Oh yeah.
Whereas now it's just like,
Lifelines.
yeah, just like, man, everything's on
Put
your
it on your phone.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So really, really different. But yeah, so all of us got on the train.
How many people?
That one would have been possibly 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good size
It
group.
was a decent group. So even where we stayed at the Snow, it was kind of like, it was a hostel. But when I say hostel, so people in Australia, I don't know what they're like in America, but when you think hostel,
You think like dirty, like
yeah,
cramped, like people snoring and sleeping on top
Yeah,
of each other, and
pretty much.
like a horror show for a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had one room to ourselves, like
That's
bunks
nice.
and that.
That's nice.
But it was really, really nice.
Mm.
The place we stayed, like nice and warm. It was ran by a couple. They had maybe one helper, and they were just really good people.
That's always good.
But that thing of like, yeah, getting on the train the next day, we're on the way. We had one stop at Matsumoto, because then we had to catch the little like 2-carriage train to Nagano.
Nice.
But we thought, you know
Nice.
what, we'll stop at Matsumoto because there's a castle there and just check it out, which that's my favorite one. I don't know if you've ever been to Matsumoto at all.
No, I haven't been up to Nagano at all.
I'd love to go probably during like a summer or spring. Apparently it's really nice because it's like the Japanese Alps.
Oh, yeah. I really want to go.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things.
That castle is one of my favorites. And yeah, so we just hung around for a bit, got the train, went out there, and then it was like snow.
Real
30,
snow.
Yeah. Got out and it's kind of like,
you scoop it up in your hands and you just like, because powdered snow it's like powdered sugar.
Yeah.
It's it's soft, it's light, it feels very nice.
Yeah.
It's just, you just want to touch it,
And like I was saying, I was 30 at the time too. So just having that really new experience.
Yeah, lucky you, honestly.
Yeah.
Not many people get to experience something 100% new when they're 30.
And Nagano, like, it really snows out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, even on the sides of the roads, there's big mounds. But, that snow isn't always as soft when it's been there that long.
No, because it freezes and it
Yeah.
becomes quite icy, ice-like.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience with snow and blizzards growing up on the East Coast, where we get storms called nor'easters that blow in from the northeast, aptly named. And they blow in and they dump a ton of snow, and school closes for 2 weeks. And, as a kid,
Can't do anything.
I was like, oh, this is the best. But the adults, my parents, thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, I bet it wasn't fun for them.
No, that's bad.
Like for me, it was just go outside. My brother and my dad would shovel the driveway. That was their job.
Yeah.
I'm too delicate for that. So they built an actual like igloo.
I was about to say igloo?
Like a
They built an igloo?
big, like adults could fit in this massive igloo in the backyard where all the snow would accumulate.
Yeah.
They built an igloo. We built snowmen, snow angels, go sledding, like everything you could do in the snow. We would do. And you had snow pants and you had a snow jacket and you had snow boots and the hats and all that.
Yeah.
And that was just like a part of my childhood. So like when the snow, sometimes you would get snow and then sometimes it would freezing rain on top of that and that would turn into ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one year we had this really freak, like tons of snow and then the freezing rain and ice accumulated like probably a good like
Yeah, that's a
10,
nice
like 5 to 10
chunk.
centimeters.
Yeah.
And my dad went ice skating on our driveway because that's how
Oh,
thick the ice was.
that's cool.
Had a really horrible power outage because of all the ice on the power lines. So it was very, very cold, but we had a fireplace. So, it was manageable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like snow is wonderful when it's like soft and powder snow. But when you get like the slushy, icy, crunchy snow,
Yep.
not as fun.
One of my funny memories from that is so just outside the hostel where there was a whole bunch of snow, like put in a mound.
Mhm.
One of the guys going for a headfirst dive.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh,
soft and powdery.
no.
It just
Yeah, smack.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get a nice bruise. But
It's like, maybe don't dive
no,
head first into that.
don't dive. But that was also the first, like I said, first time I saw snow. So it's like, yeah, I'm 30. I'm gonna go snowboarding.
Oh, so this is your first time seeing snow, which meant it was your very first time snowboarding,
Yeah,
correct?
or attempting.
Or attempting snow.
I did
You
not
really-
get to snowboard.
You should have skied. You really picked the hard one.
Nah, like it was always in my like I want to snowboard, and I was lucky at the time because I did like the other guys they kind of knew. I was like,
Mhm.
guys, go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll at least go get a lesson.
Oh,
And I was lucky that it's like there are group lessons there.
Mhm.
It's pretty cheap, and I paid for a group lesson. I don't know how much I paid, but it was like nothing.
Mhm.
And then showed up, and it was like just me and the instructor, and it's like.
nice.
Right. He's like, you're lucky, man. You got group rates. This is a private lesson. So,
One-on-one.
yeah. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever fucking done. It was up there. I'm trying to just move around,
Mhm.
and there's little kids zipping by, laughing,
those little
and
kids.
not laughing at me, just having fun. Probably laughing at me too. But yeah.
I think that's a staple of any ski or snowboard resort
Mhm.
is when you are a beginner
Yeah.
and you take a lesson
Mhm.
and around you are kids zooming by,
Oh,
doing the nice stops and stuff, and you're just like, God damn it.
and then they're very low center of gravity too, right?
Yeah.
So
And they've been doing
they're
it since
sitting
they've
up-
been born,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
you know.
I don't know. Actually, funny talking about first time snow. My little daughter, she went out with my wife out near Chiyoda
Mhm.
somewhere. Saw snow for the first
the first time.
and apparently she really loved it.
Oh,
So,
that's very
I'm
sweet.
hoping maybe this year, like I'm not gonna really go snowboarding, but I think let's go
Go
there
see
and
the
just play with her.
snow.
and that,
Yeah.
so, yeah. So hopefully
possible.
end of the year, maybe go
So
out
you had
there.
you had a private snowboarding lesson,
I had a
and it
private
was the
snowboarding
hardest
lesson.
thing.
Hardest thing I've done. Like, it's cold out there,
Oh yeah,
and I'm still sweating. Like,
the
but
irony.
it did help a lot. Like, yeah, do a lesson.
Oh yeah,
So,
always do a lesson.
Yeah.
Don't rely on your friends to teach you because they're not gonna do a lesson.
And I'll put the picture up. I'm sure I've still got it. So, I was very, what's the word? Safety conscious, and I had a helmet. Luckily, because
Oh, no.
I think it was possibly that day or the next day. So, the green run's very easy
Yeah.
near the bottom. Well, a lot of people are on those ones, so the snow is quite packed, right?
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Because it gets
Yeah, so many
What is
skis
it?
and boards have gone over.
If it was
the
grass,
snow.
it would be
It's
trodden, but it's snow, so it's not
compacted.
Yeah.
And I was still learning,
Mm-hmm.
getting a little bit of speed. Still can't really control myself that much. And then, so
Because that's
I'm on
always
an
what you
angle,
want when
right?
you're
Right.
going full tilt down a
Yeah.
mountain.
So I pretty much was going down a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
The front edge caught,
Oh no.
so I felt myself just going. Now, if you fall back, that's going to hurt anyway on flat ground,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
I'm on an angle, so how much further do you fall as well?
Oh
And
no.
that hit, like, it didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting hit in the head a lot. Again, this explains a lot. But I thought, oh wow, like there was a split second of
Mhm.
like, oh what? Yeah, got up. No, I'm good. And it wasn't until we got back to the hostel, my
Mhm.
friend went, "What the hell, dude? Look at your helmet." And there was two big cracks on the back
Oh my
of my helmet.
God. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
wearing a helmet is also very important, kids.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Well, I think
Jeez.
they say the most people actually injure themselves, like snowboarding or skiing, is beginners
Mm-hmm.
and experts,
Oh yeah.
because you're both doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put the picture up if I remember. If I
Yeah,
can find it, 'cause
definitely.
I remember this helmet was one of my favorites because there was two main stickers. There was a black helmet, and then I had a big jackass logo on the side because it just seemed appropriate,
Of course.
and a big sticker on the other side that said noob.
Again, appropriate.
And now the fact that it has cracks, like I kept it. I was like, yeah,
That's a good souvenir.
yeah, that was a good
That's a good
souvenir.
souvenir.
But even so, while I was there, while the guys were doing their things,
Mhm.
I actually just met a few Japanese people. Well, I couldn't speak Japanese. In particular, two very pretty Japanese girls.
Oh no. Did they speak any English?
Barely any
Oh,
English.
so communication was very
Communication was
hand gestures
yeah,
and
yeah. But because everyone else gone and was doing their thing, I was still kind of like learning and doing my own.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was just having a break, and then yeah,
They just
ended
came up to you?
somehow. Yes, yeah.
Damn.
And they're like, "Do you want to come with us?" Kind of like as much as we could get to communicate. It's like, "We're going to lunch now. Do you want to join us?"
Did
'Cause
they
I could see like I was by myself.
Uh-huh.
Come with us. All right,
So they just like blatantly hit on you.
pretty much.
Like you were just by yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Not complaining.
I mean, yeah, but wow.
Yeah,
That's quite forward.
right.
That's quite forward.
It was. Yeah. So I had lunch with these two girls, as you do.
Did they pay for you or did you pay for them?
I don't know actually.
It was like maybe
I
they were
reckon
just like, we should get this
yeah.
guy to buy us lunch.
I don't remember paying. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's like, but even then, they're like after it's like, let's go snowboarding together for the rest of the day,
Okay.
right? So yeah, I was by myself at the start, and then
Mhm.
just ended up hanging out with these two, and they were really cool girls. Like,
Oh, that's a
because
really good
that's right.
story.
One of the friends that came,
Mm-hmm.
she was Japanese,
Mhm.
still living in Japan at the time. Her boyfriend or fiance at the time was a friend in Sydney,
Mhm.
and she met up with us.
Okay.
And so at the end, we kind of, and then yeah, she was talking to those two girls as well. Obviously, she
Mhm.
could speak to them, and then even like confirmed that they were really nice. I wasn't getting scammed or anything like
No,
that.
that was what I would be worried about is they were
Yeah,
like
yeah,
trying to scam you.
definitely.
Because I'm very mistrustful of people. Not that, Japanese people scam everybody, but just I would be very like, why are you talking to
No,
me?
they get
Kind of.
situational awareness. Doesn't matter what country you're in, watch your back.
Yeah.
Just like I told you, when you go into Sydney,
Yeah.
it's not Japan.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Japan.
I mean, things can still happen here.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much, but yeah, be
It's still
careful.
possible.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the snow trip, and like those are my big memories. The one last memory of the snow trip
Mhm.
was also the first time I ever had hot sake.
Oh, how was that?
It was the best.
So
To think about this,
it's a very acquired taste.
I think so.
Yeah.
However, I really enjoyed it because group of friends. We went.
Mhm.
There was a little izakaya nearby,
Izakaya is like a little pub kind of thing.
so we had a lot of food, a lot of drinks,
Mhm.
and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it.
Had you ever
And
had sake
I
before?
don't think I'd actually had sake
Okay.
before. So, hot sake, that's the image that always comes back in my head. Because, the windows,
Mhm.
it was nighttime, but you could see just the snow outside.
Mhm.
It was in there just sipping away on hot sake.
How
And
would you describe the taste of hot sake?
how do you describe
It
it?
is a
'Cause
very acquired taste. I don't really like it.
yeah?
I like chilled sake and only if it's like quite sweet and crisp. I don't and then when sake is heated,
Mm,
it obviously depends on where the sake is from.
yeah.
And the flavor profile and all
Right,
that. But
right, right.
generally the aroma
Mhm.
really hits you
Yeah, it
when
is
it's
quite,
heated.
right, right.
And it has this kind of aroma that so let me put it in terms that my mom used once a very long time ago. She
Yeah.
said it smells like hot piss.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know, I had that sort of idea with me when I actually tried because I lived in Saijo, which is known for its sake, right? So I
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
the sake the festival and stuff. And I tried hot sake
Mhm.
and it doesn't it's not really an ammonia urine smell.
Yeah.
but it is a very kind of tangy smell
It
that
does have,
hits
for
you.
me now when I think about the smell, it's just like, well, this is alcohol.
Yeah.
kind
But
of
it has
thing.
like a tang with
Yeah.
the fermented kind of
Yeah,
tang to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So when that smell, when it's heated, it really hits you.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's like, oh, this is alcoholic and it's a bit tangy. And I kind of feel like when you heat up sake, it takes almost like a more of like a viscous quality as opposed to like a
I think you're right. Yeah,
like a
yeah.
like a watery. It's more of like a viscous kind of
Mhm,
feel,
mhm.
like mouth feel,
Yeah, yeah,
I guess. I never really enjoyed it. I'm really not a big sake fan
yeah.
because
In general?
in
Not necessarily.
general,
Yeah.
it's not my first
Well, then there's
choice.
that as well. Yeah.
It's not my first choice.
I
But
don't drink
like
it all the time, but there's sometimes when it's like, you know what? I feel like some. Yeah.
but having that in that wintertime
Yeah, no, it was just
environment though,
I think
that's really nice.
everything together, the
Yeah.
whole visual group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. And it's like, you have a few. That was also when I realized I got off pretty lightly,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like, oh, this stuff creeps up on you.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to drink. Anyone that hasn't had sake in general before, that's easy to drink, but yeah,
Yeah.
it'll creep up on you.
It hits you really quickly.
Yeah.
Not at first,
Mhm.
but I got really drunk on sake at the sake festival one
Yeah.
year, and it really
AKA the zombie festival.
yeah, because you get off the train at the station and it just smells like alcohol, but it hit me very unexpectedly, and I was like, it was awful.
Yeah.
So I was very drunk, like I was babbling some kind of nonsense to the person I was with.
Yeah.
In Japanese.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to go on the train to get back home.
Was it in Japanese? Pick a language, maybe. Who knows?
It probably was, but I was babbling, and then I had to get on the train, and I felt so sick on the train to the point where I had to get off before my stop
Are you that sick?
and go to a bathroom because
Ooh.
yeah, I had to be like peeled off the floor and put back into bed, kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never drank sake after that for a very long time.
Chanda.
But yeah.
Yeah. They say that in America, though. Chanda.
There's a really great it's like a video clip that my friend Annalise sent me
Yeah.
about it's like a British guy who goes on a gap year.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he goes to all these, it's like a comedy thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, I went to all these countries and all this, and then I just drank all this alcohol, just chundered everywhere. And like, that's what the whole clip is. And so whenever I hear the word chunder,
Chanda.
that's what I think of. It's not really a US thing. I think
No,
it's more
it's
of a
not.
UK,
It might be.
Australia thing.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have to do that one time. I want to do the whole... I don't know.
No.
We're going to get plastered
Oh,
and Chanda on air.
No, thank you.
No, not that. Do the whole... American Australian words
yeah,
kind
for
of thing. I
sure.
will throw Japanese maybe in
For
there,
sure.
So I reckon that'd be
So
Chanda.
yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, sake. If you're drinking sake for the first time,
Be careful.
be careful. Drink water. Don't drink a whole lot. But it doesn't really give you a bad hangover.
Yeah, I found it was pretty good.
Which is
I think also depends on the sake as well.
Also, mercifully, did not give me a hangover. I was like, oh, thank God.
You weren't
'Cause-
drinking like the 7-Eleven.
No,
like one cup.
no, I was drinking really nice sake from
Yeah.
the festival.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
But
So that was your
those were my the snow memories, right?
yeah.
So again, it's funny. It's like so your trip, nothing to do with Hiroshima at all.
No, not at
My
all.
first trip as well. Hiroshima was not on the list because I didn't have anything to do with the planning.
Yeah, I was
Tagged
gonna
on
say,
at the
yeah.
end. So Hiroshima for me was my second trip, but we'll get
Same.
on to that.
Same.
but
Yeah,
on
we have to
another
talk about
time.
our second trip.
Going still back about the first trip. So it was off the top of my head. Nagano, Osaka,
Mhm.
Tokyo,
Mhm.
Kyoto as well was thrown in there.
Oh, so you went to the big three.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people do that on their first trip. I recommend it that way as well anyway.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Tokyo was fun. I have a nice story from that. It's like, it's nothing crazy because it extends into the second trip in a way.
Mhm.
'Cause it's like a part 2. But so bunch of rowdy guys are gonna find a place to drink. Where we're gonna drink, and
Oh,
we're walking
God.
around Tokyo first time.
Mhm.
And, well, for me it was first
All
time.
the
I think
lights and the glitter and
yeah.
yeah.
I think a lot of the guys in the group, it was possibly their second trip.
Okay.
So it kind of helped in a way that you had some people that kind of navigate around.
Oh, very helpful.
Yeah, especially Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had dinner somewhere, and then it's like, found a place to drink, and then it's like, we found this place, and like they had the speaker outside, and like the music was like, music sounds cool, let's try this place. And we went downstairs, and like it was a good bar.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed ourselves, like, got pretty full. We just had our own little area
Mm-hmm.
for a while and drinking, and then up at the bar and having a good drink. And yeah, it was great. One of the ones where they have their own little karaoke thing too, where people just
Yeah.
started singing and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that in there. And yeah, we had a great night. And coming back to the second trip, it
Mm-hmm.
was just me and another friend
Mhm.
from that first trip. And he did the let's go to that bar.
The
Which
one
one?
that
The one we all went to.
you went to Tokyo.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to go to the bar. All right. Do you remember where it is roughly? Maybe. Let's try. It took a while,
Mm-hmm.
but then we remembered like the speaker and the music coming out.
Mhm.
And it's like, is this it? This is it. Okay. Go down the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
sit down. It's like, yeah, this is the place. Remember it from the photos and that. Yeah. And we're having a few drinks, and then the bartender's kind of asking us odd questions, which I'll get back to later.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit strange, like not in a bad way or anything, like
Mhm.
pretty friendly and everything. And then there's a few other customers walking and that.
Mhm.
And then because by my second trip I've known a little bit more about Japan,
Mhm.
Japanese drinking culture, different types of bars,
Mhm.
and I looked around, and then I realized I had an epiphany. When your brain just goes click.
Yeah.
Oh, I look at my friend. I go, I just realized something. He's like, what? You know those hostess bars? Like, yeah. We go, have a look around. Look at the customers.
We're in one.
No, it gets better than that.
Mhm.
Have a look at customers. We're in the opposite of the hostess bars. We're in a host bar.
You're in a host club.
Yeah. Because all the guys are serving drinks, and all the customers are girls.
Oh boy.
Which
didn't see
clicked
that
with the
coming.
questions, because the guy was asking, oh, so you guys, pretty much in his bad English, like, are we a couple kind of thing? No, we're just friends. And that was the thing that kind of started getting me going. And then I looked around and put one and one together, and it equaled 3. And
So wait. For those of you who aren't familiar with
Yeah.
hostess clubs and host clubs, it's part of the nightlife in Japan, where hostess clubs, you have these beautiful women in, I would call them prom dresses.
Yeah.
American prom dresses. So like gowns,
Mhm.
beautiful hair, beautiful makeup, beautiful nails. And you go, usually men.
Mhm.
Women are allowed to go in there, obviously, but generally men, middle-aged men mostly, go in there with their business associates.
Mhm.
They can either ask for a girl by name,
Mhm.
or they can just have a girl. They can usually pick, which girl they want to be at their table.
Yeah.
And the girl will pour them drinks,
Mhm.
and they will buy her drinks,
Mhm.
and she will talk to them, make conversation.
Mhm.
They're generally quite well versed in like politics and what's going on in the world, and
And also making you feel really
And
good
making
about
you
yourself. Like,
feel-
you're amazing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they're kind of sometimes compared to like geisha culture, and like everyone's like, well, isn't there just like a sexual element to it? And there are places that do have an
Sure,
element like
yeah.
that. There's a whole thing about it. But anyway, and host clubs are the opposite, where they cater to women. So they have these very handsome like men
Yeah.
in their really nice snazzy suits with their like very snazzy hairstyles.
Yep.
And they pour the drinks, they make the conversation, they make the girl feel loved, and like it's very much about providing an atmosphere where the person feels taken care of and loved and special.
We felt loved.
Did you feel
No,
loved?
well, here was the thing. It's like, because
Was your host very, very accommodating?
yeah. But after I told my friend, and he was like, "Oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to go?" I'm like, "No, I'm having fun. I'm all right."
It's like, no, I'm good.
Because then we looked
Good.
around, I'm like, so we were here, like, that first trip, not knowing any of this.
I had a good time.
But we had
A good
it
enough
was
time you wanted to come
full,
back.
And I think as a bunch of guys
Mm-hmm.
in a bar by themselves, because all the customers were girls.
There you go.
So even though that they're paying that little bit, to talk to a host
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, well, they were talking to us. as well.
Mhm.
So the same thing happened when we came back.
Mhm.
Kind of things like, well, the customers were girls, and that worked for us as well.
I was gonna say, there you go.
So yeah, we had a great night because it was just like we could go, but why?
But why not?
Yeah. But it was really funny when it just clicked. I'm like,
It's like, wait a minute.
that's why he thinks we're gay. Not that there's anything wrong with
There
that.
you go, very Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Exactly. But
Oh man,
that's another good memory.
that is.
It's like, and it's a story I like telling.
That's a good
to
story.
people. It's like, yeah.
I think some more of my best stories of Japan come during the second trip,
Mhm.
my second study abroad, also my third study abroad when my dad came to visit.
Yeah.
With my stepmom, and I have a lot of stories from that trip as well. We have a lot of stories about Japan that we still have to tell, for sure.
I'll just wrap up with probably a little bit of just the ending to that trip.
Okay.
And on the flight back,
Mhm.
so I'm sitting not next to any of my friends. Ended up sitting next to a Japanese girl.
Mhm.
And yeah, we were just chatting and that because she's coming to Australia
Oh,
to talk
so
about English.
yeah.
Sorry, learn English and that.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, cool. Like we're
Conversation
talking
practice.
conversation practice, and yeah. And that was really funny and probably really embarrassing for her as well because you're on a plane, you're kind of sitting like that.
You're
It
like
was her
this
big,
close to each other too on a plane.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, you're like really close.
And it was like, yeah, how many times it's like fallen asleep and I was like, I wake up and it's like this person that I just met is using my shoulder as a pillow.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I was just like,
Like,
whatever.
all
I'm just
right,
going
all
back to
right.
sleep. But we got along really well,
Mhm.
and that was in 2011. And this is a person that I kept in contact with, even though in Australia she was in a very different part.
Mhm.
We kept in contact, and we're actually still friends today.
Oh, that's a nice story.
Yeah.
Shout out to, what is her name?
Tomoko.
Shout out to Tomoko.
Tomoko. Which is really funny. We also had like when my little daughter was born, I think within a month or two, she also had her first child as well,
Oh,
little girl. So really funny is just like from 2011, sitting on a random seat
yeah.
that you can make a friend.
Did she talk to you first, or did you talk to her first?
I don't remember
Don't
now.
remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm approachable. Scary, right? Space. I don't know, but
Probably approachable. I mean, being on a plane, you kind of have to be, you're like in each other's space.
yeah.
There's got to be a little bit of like, conversation or something eventually.
Well, see, that's obviously why then I came back, right?
Yeah.
That was the start of like I met so many good people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was, the fact that I didn't organize the trip. There were so many things I wanted to do because for me,
Mhm.
Hiroshima was on my list
Mhm.
as the first place I would want to come,
Mhm.
strangely enough. So I made that happen in the next trip, which
Mhm.
we'll get into. But yeah, meeting so many good people, seeing all the vending machines.
Oh yeah, the magical vending machines with hot and cold. I remember going back and
That's right,
telling
'cause it
people
was winter, yeah.
because
So
they wouldn't believe it. Because in the U.S. at the time, the
Mhm.
vending machines were just cold drinks, no canned hot drinks, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like I have been to a magical land where the cold drinks and the hot drinks sit side by side.
And that they do.
It was amazing
Especially in winter, it's like sometimes it's like I'm just gonna buy a can because I just want to hold
because
it.
it's a hand warmer.
Yeah,
I still do that.
which at the ski fields is even better, right? Just
Yeah.
sit there and just like
Or you can just
hold
put it.
for
You
a
can
bit,
put it in your
the
pocket, and you put your hand in your
Yeah,
pocket. I still do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
Another great thing about the vending machines here, so people who haven't come here and they do, it's like, so I know in Sydney a lot of the vending machines pretty much have the same 6 or 7 drinks,
Mm-hmm.
whereas here there'll be vending machines lined up next to each other, and it's like they'll all be different.
They're all
And it's like,
different.
I don't want to drink any of these. You know what? Just turn around the corner, you'll find
Yes.
another machine with a whole bunch of
Spoiled
different.
for choice.
Yeah,
And if you can't find something in the vending machine, odds are you walk about a block in one direction and there's like 3 convenience stores where
Yeah.
you can find even more drinks. So it's very spoiled for choice.
yeah,
And
definitely.
I remember being very impressed with the vending machine.
Your first trip is like, there's probably still so many details for me that I'm forgetting.
Oh, I've forgotten so much that when I reread my live journal entries, I was like, I talked to people.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember. I'm like I barely remember the tea ceremony. I remember seeing a lot of the shrines.
Mhm.
But I was like, I didn't remember about the strawberry shortcake. I didn't remember about a lot of things. And so I'm very glad that I have a record.
Yeah.
Because it's my second trip to Japan, also my study abroad. I have records of all of them.
Yeah.
From LiveJournal.
Mhm.
So I'm
I
very
don't
glad.
have a live journal,
You really should have.
but I got to check back on the Facebook. And
Yeah, you
have a look,
probably have
so-
something on Facebook.
I think again, I was taking photos with the digital camera.
They had to
back
plug into your
then.
actual
Yeah,
computer to get
yeah,
the photos off of
exactly.
it.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure I got a lot of photos lying around, which I'll post those up.
I really wish I had photos. I bet even when I was studying abroad, I was using LiveJournal. So when I got back from study abroad, I think that was when I got on like Facebook.
Yeah.
I think. So I really don't have any photos from my study abroad, really.
Yeah.
It would have to be like when I actually moved back to Japan for work.
Okay, yeah.
That's when I would actually have photos. But there was like nothing very like Japanese cultural about any of those photos. So it was just like, hey, look at me. I'm living in Japan.
Yeah.
Here's some bread I made. It's very similar to what I have now on my Instagram.
Fair enough,
So
going with that though, so you can actually catch the Hiroshima Food Snob on her Instagram.
yeah,
which
follow me on
is-
Instagram. It's Hiroshima Food Snob. Very simple. So you can catch me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter or X if you are of that persuasion. Twitter is Hiroshima Food Snob, but there's
It's a lot of food
no
on it.
vowels. There's too many letters. You can find a link in the description.
Yep, I'll make sure I pop it up
I
there.
also have a YouTube channel, again, Hiroshima Food Snob. You can find a link in the description. But for us, if you want to follow us, we are Instagram at the Waiting Room JPN. We're also on YouTube,
Mhm.
same Waiting Room JPN. And you can also send us an email if you are so inclined at thewaitingroomjpn@gmail.com.
Yeah, and just before I go, just a quick shout out to my nephew.
Yeah.
Just got his L plates, so he's a driver now.
Yay!
Great work, man.
Well done.
Stay sumptuous. But yeah, wrapping that up. So you can listen to us we're on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, a whole bunch of other platforms.
Yeah, we have we'll put a link to the link tree in our Instagram as well.
Yep. Next episode, I'm not sure if we'll be talking about us. We might take a break from us. We might not. We'll see how we go.
You'll just have to come back and see what we talk about next time.
If you like what you're listening to,
And even if you don't,
tell people. Spread it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
comment.
If you're listening on Spotify or any of the podcasts,
Leave us a rating.
yeah, 5 stars.
5 stars only.
Not 1.
5 stars.
But
You know you want to.
well, thanks for joining us in the waiting room, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time in the waiting room. Bye.
Peace, guys.